Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name's Justin, and this is Dad Discovers, where I'm learning about the world through YouTube. Today I'm checking out the Wetherspoons for the first time in a video titled The Genius Design of Wetherspoon Pubs. So this is like a new aged pub, I'm guessing, or like a big corporate owned pub. Let's jump in and check it out.
England is famous for three things: its royal family, architecture, and drinking.
Nice.
But in 2025, we are sitting at just 39,000 pubs, the lowest number since the early 1970s. Currently, one pub closes every day in the UK, and this very...
Yeah, that's what a lot of you have been saying in my last two videos about pubs. The one where I learned about pubs, and then the one where it talked about the older pubs. And a lot of the comments have said just how many pubs are closing down, like in your own town, and it's a sad thing.
Very much reflects the struggling state of the high street.
The British high street is changing.
Historically, the pub market is incredibly hard to get into. A handful of big brewers own most pubs, and they won't sell a good one. This locks out independent landlords and creates an unrivaling monopoly. That was until 1979, when Wetherspoons arrived in London. Tim Martin, a man with no experience running a pub, bought a pub in Muswell Hill.
Someone converted a shop into a very small pub in London, and I started having a pint there. Right. And the guy that ran it didn't like it, and I took over his lease.
This pub acted as the blueprint for the now 800 Wetherspoons pubs across the UK. So how did Tim Martin break into the seemingly impenetrable market? Wetherspoons pubs start their life as something else. Schools, cinemas, post offices, banks. In many cases, they occupy buildings that have been abandoned, left to decay, or even under threat of demolition. Even Tim's first pub was a converted Bookies, and today Wetherspoons has still never built a pub, and instead operates an architectural salvage operation. But despite this innovative approach, Wetherspoons has always had a bad name in part. Spoons pubs are seen as cheap drinking dens, the condition and quality of food and drink being constantly questioned. And
they're saying it's, cheap, but I've seen people in the comments talk about how good they are.
Martin himself is an incredibly controversial public figure, mainly due to his outspoken political views. However, whether intentionally or not, these pubs have become a protector of heritage buildings. Come for the cheap drinks and stay for the history. This is important because old
I am about the history.
Buildings give people a sense of pride in their area. All cities and towns have their own character through their architecture, streets, and the people who embody them. Places are normally born from a rich history, based from a job, skill, or community that laid their foundation for what it is today. And it's important to remember that foundation when envisioning its potential future.
People are very sensitive to the restoration of buildings and sensitive to atmosphere, create a fascinating space. It would preserve the past, and somehow when you go to a pub, one of the things that you sometimes subliminally like is the link with history.
In utilising these older buildings, Wetherspoons preserves the civic history of a place. Many Spoons pubs proudly display historical photos and snippets of their pasts. Their website holds a database of all...
Yeah, I see that here sometimes, not with pubs or anything, just in general, like especially like small mom and pop style stores and restaurants. They'll hang up like pictures of that neighborhood from, well, for our past, it's not that long ago, for like 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago.
The pubs, detailing a building's evolution and its history. There's even a part on their website where you can suggest a new Wetherspoons location, a way for communities to save historical buildings under threat. Some argue it's shameful that these old theatres, banks and churches are now being used to drink, smoke and gamble. And ideally, these buildings would be reinstated to their original use. But realistically, many of them are simply too big, too expensive, and too impractical to be anything else. And if the choice is between a public accessible pub or luxury flats? I think the choice is clear. Pubs are vital to a changing high street, and historical buildings define the character of towns. We must find a way to preserve both. Because pubs aren't just places to drink. They're one of few places in a town where different jobs, backgrounds, and people mix together. You can sit alone or with strangers, a group of friends, and never feel judged. Pubs are places to tell stories and share ideas, and a pub should feel like it's telling a story of its own. We all sit.
So I assume then in these Wetherspoons, it's kind of like the same atmosphere as in a traditional pub, where it kind of just can just mingle with other people.
On chairs sat on by countless others, holding drinking glasses held by everyone else. So maybe that's the secret to a great pub. Not just the most flavorful beer or most competitive prices, but a place that has lived multiple lives before, and one that does not pretend to be perfect or unmarked. Like the people who drink inside of them, it's a place that's unique and has a story of its own to tell.
Pubs are one of those things that can rescue that to some extent.
Yes, I think maybe that's why people have become more aware recently of preservation of old buildings, that the high street is disappeared to some extent into warehouses miles outside town.
Well, that was interesting. I've been wanting to check out the Wetherspoons since the last pub videos came out, because like I said, a lot of people were telling me about them in there. But yeah, that was interesting. Good to see, good to learn about. And thank you for checking this out with me. And I hope to see you in the next one.